drama, frenzy, jeopardy, passion. This Liverpool team are as good as anything he's previously built. I just felt like Man City were so good that it was almost irrelevant how good Liverpool were because City were going to be better. Before we get started on this video, do you know what we need to do? We need to say salut, cheers to that weekend. That was a special weekend of football. It was full of intensity, drama, frenzy, jeopardy, passion, agony. It was just brilliant. And that is a weekend that needs to be preserved. It had everything. I loved it. A proper weekend of Premier League action. It was really special. And off the back of it, I think now that the title race has potentially been blown wide open. Look, I'm the first to admit that I thought City had it in the bag. I didn't see a world where it were possible for Liverpool to win the league. I really didn't. And I think there was a result where Man City beat Brentford, and I pretty much said that was it. Then there was the New Year's Day result when Man City went to Arsenal, were outplayed by Arsenal and ended up winning the game in the last minute. I felt like that was the kind of symbolic moment that meant the title was heading to the Etihad. But I was so wrong to write off this Liverpool team. I was so wrong to underestimate this Liverpool team. I am dreading Sunday. That cup final is going to be painful. I should have never, ever written them off. I didn't think Liverpool would have it in them. I thought Liverpool were going to be massively affected by AFCON, and they weren't really. You know, Liverpool have now won 5 in a row, and with Jurgen Klopp at the helm, he has built a team that is as good as any team that he has previously built. This Liverpool team, and I said this at the beginning of the season, I said this about 5 or 6 games in, this Liverpool team are as good as anything he's previously built. This Liverpool team are as good as the team that won the European Cup, the team that didn't win the league, that went all the way, the team that did win the league. This team is at least as good, if not better, than those teams. I just felt like Man City were so good that it was almost irrelevant how good Liverpool were because City were going to be better. But Liverpool's attitude, Liverpool's desire to win, and Jurgen Klopp's brilliance, getting it right. We saw in Europe the other day that triple substitution, bringing on Jordan Henderson, Henderson controlling the game the way that he did, constantly urging his team to play the correct Jurgen Klopp way. Roberto Firmino comes in, scores a no-look header. This is an incredibly gifted team. And now I think that we really do have a title race. Maybe it's just Lawrence McKenna rubbing off on me. I've been sitting too close to Lawrence McKenna for so long that via osmosis, he's infiltrated my mind. He has believed all the way through. Regardless of the gap, he has always believed that Liverpool were in a title race. I dismissed it. But off the back of what we've just seen, those 5 wins on the spin, Tottenham beating City, 6 points, a fixture to come, maybe. Just maybe. And therefore, I thought we could do a video where we explore why Liverpool could win the league. So point 1 as to why Liverpool can win the league. It's obvious. I'm not giving you anything that you don't know here, but the answer is obviously Virgil van Dijk. Look at that performance the other day against Norwich. It was a virtuoso performance from the centre-half, playing as a sort of midfielder, dictating the tempo, controlling the pace of the game. That isn't what centre-halves do, and he really is that good. And to amplify quite how good he is, all we really need to do is cast our minds back almost exactly a year ago, when Liverpool were apparently in crisis, Jurgen Klopp's job was apparently in threat. We realised quite how important Virgil van Dijk was. All Liverpool needed were to get their centre-halves fit and to get fans back in the stadium. You know, that cosmetic, horrible way of playing football was an awful existence. I didn't agree with it, didn't enjoy it at all. And it's been proved true. So it was this time last year, February 2021, that Liverpool recorded their 4th defeat in a row, a defeat to Everton. And people did start to wonder if the party was over for Klopp, if this squad of players had gone as far as they could go. You know, they reached the zenith of the game, but we wondered quite how long they could sustain it for, and if in fact it was over. A year later, everything they said they needed, they've got, and they are fighting fit. 7 games in a row, Virgil van Dijk controlling it perfectly, and that game against Norwich was a great example of why he is so important. With him in the team, anything is possible. The second reason is Liverpool's squad is truly fantastic. It's an amazing, vast array of talented footballers. And if you look at what they have on the bench, this depth is better than anything that they've had before. This squad is certainly better than the team that won the Champions League in 2019 and certainly better than the team that won the league in 2020. The squad is sensational. And I don't know that much about rugby, but I know that Jurgen Klopp has been speaking to that Eddie Jones who manages England, and apparently the concept of finishers on the bench. I don't mean finishing chances. I mean players that finish the game, get you over the line. And Jurgen Klopp has an abundance of players capable of doing that, and he is making full use of them. The 2 games most recently give us a great example of that. Against Norwich, brings on a finisher. To finish that game, to make sure it ends the way that Klopp wants it to, you bring on Thiago Alcantara. I mean, what a gifted footballer to be able to bring on in that circumstance. Can you imagine playing for Norwich that day? You'd be thinking, we're doing all right here, we're doing okay, keep it up, keep fighting. Oh my God, they're bringing him on. And we saw it in the San Siro. To go to the San Siro, one of the beacons of football, probably the best stadium I've ever seen Chelsea play in, and do that to Inter Milan is a statement. To make that treble substitution, to have the ability to bring on Naby Keita, Jordan Henderson, Roberto Firmino, it's amazing. And I know Diogo Jota is injured now, and that is really bad news for Liverpool and for Jurgen Klopp, but they can roll with the punches because you have a player like Roberto Firmino. Lawrence McKenna and I bond over our love of Roberto Firmino. I say it constantly, but Roberto Firmino is everything I want Romelu Lukaku to be. He is just fantastic. And the way that people disregard his achievements and his ability and his contribution consistently drives me mad. People are saying it's time to move him on. Diogo Jota's better than him. Whether that's true or not, it isn't the point. Roberto Firmino can obviously contribute to Liverpool's season. Liverpool are so much richer, so much stronger, so much more potent because they have somebody like Roberto Firmino who isn't even in their starting lineup. The geezer scored a no-look header. Come on. And when you think about the ability that he has to bring on these finishers, people to finish the game, City have got to be trembling, haven't they? Point 3 is Luis Diaz. My lordy, what a player he is. And the fact that he's hit the ground running is such a boon to Jurgen Klopp. And fairly unexpected because Klopp's acquisitions have generally taken a bit of time. Andy Robertson signed, he barely played, did he, for 6 months? Even world-class talents. Fabinho didn't exactly hit the ground running, took a lot of time to acclimatise to the arduous nature of the Premier League. So the fact that Luis Diaz has hit the ground running may have even surprised Klopp. I mean, the Liverpool fans are loving him. I'll tell you the biggest compliment that you can pay to Diaz. I was watching the game the other day and you could hear Anfield echoing to the song that they used to sing for Luis Suarez. They are holding him in that kind of regard. They are holding him in that kind of esteem. So the fact that he is already acclimatised and they are singing for him like that is brilliant. And he's such a gifted player. He can play anywhere across the front 3, which gives Klopp loads of options, particularly when you think Jota's injured and Firmino has had his injury problems. The fact that Luis Diaz actually played against Norwich through the middle, didn't he? Played the last half hour straight through the middle. Scored a great goal. I mean, as Brian Gunn comes out, just dinks it over him. What a goal that was as well. So the fact that he has managed to do that is truly, truly brilliant. And I would say that if Liverpool end up managing to hunt Man City down, the signing of Luis Diaz will be seen as being pivotal as to how they got it over the line. Point 4 is an obvious one, but it's Salah and Mane. They are unplayable. They're unbelievable. And Sadio Mane, a little bit like Roberto Firmino, seems to get kind of cast aside a bit. Doesn't necessarily get the plaudits, get the love and adoration that he deserves. Even the other day, he scores a beautiful goal, a sort of bicycle kick to ping it home. And it was eclipsed, the praise was eclipsed, because Mohamed Salah scored his 150th for the club. And I do understand why, Mohamed Salah, even this season, 25 goals now? It's freakish. But when you think of Liverpool teams over the years, no Liverpool team, regardless of how successful, I'm talking about the teams that were winning European Cup after European Cup, no Liverpool team had a pair of footballers as good as this, as gifted as this, as world-class as this, consistently performing like these two do. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter who we compare it to. St. John and Hunt. It doesn't matter. We can go Toshak and Keegan, Dalglish and Rush, Beardsley, Barnes, John Aldridge. It doesn't matter. Sturridge and Luis Suarez. No team of Liverpool in the past has ever had players performing to this level, scoring like this. And when you think about how good both of them are, it's unbelievable. I mean, even Jurgen Klopp, did you hear Jurgen Klopp talking about Mane's record? That, to me, just typified the whole thing. I think that when he was talking about it, he didn't really know what to say, Klopp, and he just basically went, it's insane. And you're like, yeah, I mean, it is. It really is that high quality. And The frequency with which they score is unbelievable, and it surpasses anything that has ever happened at Liverpool before. And think about how much they've achieved previously. So, if Liverpool are to win their game in hand against Leeds on Wednesday night, which I believe they will, City will really sense Liverpool on their shoulder. And they will be so fearful because of the firepower. The firepower at Liverpool will terrify everybody. And Man City know that as good as they are, as brilliant as they are, as gifted as they are, as wonderful as Guardiola is, goals, man. Goals. And Mane and Salah are historically good. It doesn't matter who you want to compare them to. Like I said at the beginning of this video, St. John, Rush, Beardsley, Torres, Suarez, these two are really, really significant. And for that, Man City should be petrified. Bear with me here, right? Because my final point, although it may not be the most astute or the most thoughtful, I believe that it is fairly revealing. It's Liverpool. Man City are being hunted by Liverpool. You know, it's not Tottenham chasing them down, is it? It's Mo Salah, Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool Football Club with a history of winning titles, with a history of winning trophies. It's different. And therefore, of course Liverpool can win the league because it's Liverpool. And that does mean something. History teaches us a lot about the future. You know, we can learn where we're going. We can learn what direction we're heading in because we simply look at what has gone previously. And it's Liverpool. So although I'm not saying much here, I believe I'm saying an awful lot. It's a very easy point to make, just simply saying, yes, it's Liverpool that are chasing them. But I do believe it's relevant. If exactly the same thing was happening with a Tottenham team being coached by Jacques Santini, I'd say City have definitely got the league sewn up. But it's not them. It's Liverpool, and it's Klopp, and it's Salah, and it's Mane, and it's Henderson, and it's Van Dijk. And therefore, there is a chance that Liverpool can win the league. I never thought that we could be having this conversation. I really didn't. I just thought it was in the bag for City. But do you know what the moral of this long and winding road is? Listen to Lawrence McKenna. There we go. Who knew? Who knew? It's taken me, 6-7 years of friendship to finally deduce that man often has a point, and I shouldn't disregard him as often as I do. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a like. Please click subscribe. It massively helps me out. And I look forward to seeing you all in a little while. Ta-da.